Underwriters Laboratories, also known as UL, has updated its rain-tight classification requirements for compression fittings used on conduit. This is outlined in UL Standard 514B. As of January 1, 2023, compression fittings are now required to meet these requirements. Firstly, the fitting must have a design that prevents the ingress of water when exposed to a 30-minute rain simulation test. Secondly, the fitting must not leak when subjected to a 2 pounds per square inch positive pressure test. As a result of the updated rain-tight requirement, there are now limited options for conduit outdoors. Threaded fittings that meet the rain-tight requirements of UL 514B are still permitted for use outdoors. A small number of compression fittings that meet the updated rain-tight requirements are available from certain manufacturers. However, these fittings may have specific installation and usage restrictions. In some jurisdictions, inspectors may still allow the use of compression fittings outdoors, even if they do not meet the updated rain-tight requirements. This is typically done on a case-by-case basis, considering factors such as the specific location of the installation, the type of conduit being used, and the potential for water ingress. It is important to consult with the local electrical inspector to determine the specific requirements and allowances for conduit installations outdoors in your jurisdiction. To ensure compliance with the updated rain-tight requirements, it is best practice to use threaded fittings for conduit installations outdoors. If compression fittings are necessary, consult with the manufacturer and local inspector to confirm that they meet the required rain-tight classification and are suitable for the specific installation. It is crucial to understand the implications of these changes and how they affect conduit installations in various environments. Let's delve deeper into the specifics of the updated requirements, the available options for outdoor conduit systems, and the role of electrical inspectors in ensuring compliance. The update to UL Standard 514B brings significant changes to the rain-tight classification of compression fittings. The previous standards may have allowed for some level of water ingress, but the new requirements are much stricter. The 30-minute rain simulation test is designed to replicate real-world conditions where electrical conduits are exposed to rainfall. The fitting must prevent any water from entering the conduit during this test. The 2 pounds per square inch positive pressure test is an additional measure to ensure that the fitting can withstand pressure from water that may accumulate inside the conduit system. This test is particularly important in areas where conduits may be submerged or exposed to standing water. The updated requirements mean that many of the compression fittings that were previously considered rain-tight may no longer meet the standard. This has led to a reduction in the number of available options for outdoor conduit systems. Threaded fittings have always been a reliable option for rain-tight connections, and they remain so under the updated UL standard. Threaded fittings create a mechanical seal that is resistant to water ingress. They are typically used with a sealant or tape to further enhance the rain-tight seal. The main disadvantage of threaded fittings is that they can be more time-consuming to install than compression fittings. They also require specialized tools for cutting and threading the conduit. Despite these drawbacks, threaded fittings are often the preferred choice for outdoor conduit systems due to their reliability and proven performance. While the number of available compression fittings that meet the updated rain-tight requirements is limited, some manufacturers have developed products that comply with the new standard. These fittings typically incorporate advanced sealing technologies to prevent water ingress. They may also have specific installation requirements, such as the use of a torque wrench to ensure proper tightening. It is essential to carefully review the manufacturer's instructions before installing these fittings. Even if a compression fitting is certified as rain-tight under UL 514B, it is still important to consider the specific application and environment. In areas with severe weather conditions, such as heavy rain or snow, it may be prudent to use threaded fittings for added protection. Electrical inspectors play a crucial role in ensuring compliance with the updated rain-tight requirements. They have the authority to approve or reject conduit installations based on their assessment of the fittings used and the overall installation quality. In some jurisdictions, inspectors may allow the use of compression fittings that do not meet the updated rain-tight requirements, particularly in situations where there is limited exposure to water. However, this is typically done on a case-by-case basis and requires careful consideration of the potential risks. It is always best to consult with a local electrical inspector before starting any conduit installation project to ensure that the chosen fittings and installation methods comply with the applicable codes and regulations. The location of the installation can also influence the choice of fittings. For example, conduits installed in direct sunlight may be subject to higher temperatures, which can affect the performance of compression fittings. Similarly, conduits installed in corrosive environments may require special fittings made from corrosion-resistant materials. The type of conduit being used can also impact the choice of fittings. Different types of conduit, such as rigid metal conduit, electrical metallic tubing, and flexible metal conduit, have different requirements for fittings. It is important to select fittings that are specifically designed for the type of conduit being used. The potential for water ingress is another important factor to consider. In areas where conduits are likely to be exposed to standing water or heavy rainfall, it is essential to use fittings that provide a high level of protection against water damage. The updated rain-tight requirements for compression fittings are intended to improve the safety and reliability of electrical systems in outdoor environment. By understanding these requirements and carefully selecting the appropriate fittings, electrical contractors and installers can ensure that their conduit installations are compliant with the latest standards. In addition to the UL 514B standard, there are other relevant codes and regulations that may apply to conduit installations. The National Electrical Code, also known as the NEC, provides comprehensive guidelines for electrical installations in the United States. The NEC contains specific requirements for conduit systems, including the types of fittings that are permitted for use in different locations. It is important to be familiar with the NEC requirements that apply to conduit installations in your area. State and local electrical codes may also have additional requirements for conduit systems. These codes may be more stringent than the NEC in some cases. It is essential to check with the local authorities to determine the specific requirements that apply to your project. The updated rain-tight requirements for compression fittings have had a significant impact on the electrical industry. Electrical contractors and installers have had to adapt to the changes by learning about the new requirements and selecting fittings that comply with the updated standard. Manufacturers of compression fittings have also had to respond by developing new products that meet the rain-tight requirements of UL 514B. The changes have led to increased costs for some projects, as the price of rain-tight compression fittings can be higher than the price of standard compression fittings. However, the increased costs are offset by the improved safety and reliability of the electrical systems. The updated rain-tight requirements are a positive step towards improving the quality of electrical installations in outdoor environments. By ensuring that conduit systems are properly sealed against water ingress, the risk of electrical hazards is reduced, and the lifespan of electrical equipment is extended. The updated rain-tight requirements for compression fittings are just one example of how standards and regulations are constantly evolving to improve the safety and performance of electrical systems. It is important for electrical professionals to stay up to date on the latest changes and to adapt their practices accordingly. Ongoing training and education are essential for ensuring that electrical work is performed safely and in compliance with the applicable codes and regulations. By investing in training and education, electrical contractors and installers can provide their customers with high-quality services and protect the public from electrical hazards. The specific requirements for conduit installations can vary depending on the type of occupancy. For example, the requirements for a commercial building may be different from the requirements for a residential building. The NEC contains specific provisions for different types of occupancies, and it is important to be familiar with these provisions. In addition to the type of occupancy, the location of the conduit system can also affect the requirements. For example, the requirements for a conduit system installed in a hazardous location, such as a gasoline dispensing station, may be different from the requirements for a conduit system installed in a non-hazardous location. The NEC contains specific provisions for hazardous locations, and it is important to comply with these provisions. The updated rain-tight requirements for compression fittings are a reminder that electrical safety is a shared responsibility. The electrical contractors, installers, inspectors, and manufacturers all have a role to play in ensuring that the electrical systems are safe and reliable. By working together, these stakeholders can help to prevent electrical hazards and protect the public. The updated requirements for compression fittings are intended to minimize risks associated with water damage to electrical raceways. Water entering a conduit system can lead to several problems. Firstly, it can cause corrosion of the conductors and other metallic components within the raceway. Secondly, water can create a path for electrical current to flow, leading to short circuits and ground faults. Thirdly, water can damage insulation, reducing its effectiveness and increasing the risk of electrical shock. The updated rain-tight requirements are designed to prevent water from entering the conduit system, thus minimizing these risks. When selecting conduit fittings, it is important to consider the environmental conditions to which the system will be exposed. In addition to rain, other factors such as temperature, humidity, and exposure to chemicals can affect the performance of fittings. Fittings should be selected that are suitable for the specific environmental conditions of the installation. For example, in areas with high humidity, fittings made from corrosion-resistant materials should be used. In areas with extreme temperatures, fittings that can withstand the temperature range should be selected. When installing conduit fittings, it is important to follow the manufacturer's instructions carefully. Improper installation can compromise the rain-tight seal and lead to water ingress. Fittings should be tightened to the proper torque to ensure secure connection. Sealants and tape should be applied as recommended by the manufacturer to further enhance the rain-tight seal. Regular inspection and maintenance of conduit systems are essential for ensuring their continued safety and reliability. Conduit systems should be inspected periodically for signs of damage, such as cracks, corrosion, or loose fittings. Any damage should be repaired promptly to prevent water ingress and other problems. Fittings should be retightened as necessary to maintain a secure connection. The updated rain-tight requirements for compression fittings have had a positive impact on the electrical industry by improving the safety and reliability of electrical systems in outdoor environments. By understanding these requirements and following best practices for selecting and installing conduit fittings, electrical professionals can help to prevent electrical hazards and protect the public.